There we are. We're human beings walking on a bridge.
I want to talk about the Carolinian Oak Tree in Goderich, Ontario. And there's one anecdote that always gets talked about when this tree is brought up. You know, if you run in circles where old trees get brought up. While doing some research, I noticed a bunch of notable things happened in the area around the same time as that story. So we'll use this as an excuse to mention those as well.
So the year was 1866, and a lot was going on in Goderich at the time. A guy named Sam Platt accidentally discovered salt underneath the harbor. I guess he was actually looking for oil, but instead he found what would become the world's largest underground salt mine. The first grain elevator was also built, which, along with the salt mine, is really what you might picture when you think of the Goderich Harbor today. It's also the year that the United States consulate was officially opened. Getting back to the oak tree, just outside of Goderich, tucked away on the Sifto Trail loop, is the Carolinian Oak Tree. It's a red oak that's believed to have started growing sometime around the year 1780, which makes it well over 200 years old.
Besides being an impressive example of its species, as I mentioned earlier, this tree has a small note in history. In 1866, the American Civil War General William Tecumseh Sherman visited the area. While in Goderich, he apparently noticed the tree. It's kind of up on the hill near the harbor, and he remarked on its height. That's the whole story. A famous American general said, "Wow, that's a tall tree," or something to that effect. But that little story has made its way to present day and is on the plaque by the tree, and basically anywhere the tree is written about, it's always brought up.
Okay, two things I want to mention about this. For one thing, the tree today is not particularly remarkable for its height. It is a very tall and very old tree, but there's lots of other tall trees around it. And that made me think that probably back then in 1866, this area might have been cut of all the trees, and those trees were probably used for building houses and boats and other things. So maybe the tree really was remarkable for its height at that time. The other thing to be aware of is that the arrival of General Sherman caused a bit of a sensation. There were a lot of issues in what was then Upper Canada with respect to rebels, Irish nationalists who wanted to start an Irish ethno-state in the New World. And so when General William Tecumseh Sherman was making his way into Goderich, a year after the American Civil War had ended, a lot of people were concerned that this was either Irish rebels or that it was the United States planning to annex part of Canada. So in cavities around the base of the tree, you can see that it looks like concrete has been poured here. We looked this up, and although it was probably done to protect the tree, the general belief these days is that this is not the best practice.
Well, this isn't the only mature tree in the area. It is certainly one of the largest. Up close, it's pretty impressive, and it's got a neat little story to go along with the walk to get there.